Here's the thing about narcissism and codependency. To me, from what I know and have gathered, it's two sides of the same coin. And I see a lot of stuff out on the internet. Some of the more scientific sites describe things with both tendencies, but a lot of sites geared towards narcissism as this awful evil, and it's the codependence that has to deal with it. Or you can find some sites, I believe, where they talk about codependency has its own issues too. And that's what I'm getting at, is that when you tie in the spiritual theory, philosophy of law of attraction, narcissistic tendencies and codependencies go hand in hand. And they can be within the same person, the same ability, but there's a strong preference towards one that we learned in childhood. So when two people come together in love because they're just thrown together, and the narcissist plays their part, the codependent plays their part, it's the same dance, actually, just expressed two different ways as far as I see it. And that is an unhealthy way that's deviated from our true source of love, of God. And so both people in that circumstance have healing to do. Now, a codependent can go on their entire life and die, and never heal, and never understood, and they will just place blame all across the board on the narcissist. And a narcissist can go throughout their entire life and blame it all on the codependent, whatever, and say whatever they want and go through relationship after relationship. And it stops when, for whatever reason, why we become aware. We have that hint of self-awareness. We start listening to the voice inside, deep inside, that allows us to break the pattern, to come back within and to realize the deeper truths of what you really want in life, what really matters to you. Now, next thing is that, from my experience, I believe there are stages to processing all of this. Anyone who's gone through an experience of, well, basically just abuse, emotional, physical, sexual, whatever you want to call it, it's you either basically took love for yourself, or took love from someone else, instead of allowing to be healthily expressed in a healthy manner of giving and receiving in a natural, most natural, divine way possible. I personally believe, from my own beliefs, from my own core values, I do not believe a single soul is born into existence bad or evil. Because I believe in spiritual truth, there is no such thing as evil. There's no such thing as a horrible person. But there are what we perceive to be horrible or evil tendencies or actions that we can take, or behaviors that we take to cope with the fact that as young children, for whatever reason why, we did not receive the love we felt we deserved, that we felt we cried out for, we begged for, we needed. And we took a variety of different ways to cope with that. And some people, if they had a more, let's say, a family environment that is more in line with those divine truths, that is closer to them, then those core defense mechanisms just aren't as strongly prevalent, as opposed to someone who grew up in a very, let's say, abusive household they really took on strongly preferences to getting what they need, getting their needs met. So at the end of the day, what I've learned is going through the experiences, a process of awakening, kind of pushing through the wall, awakening and realizing stuff that's still happening now, because in spiritual truth, there is no sense of time. Everything's happening now, it's just not manifested. So the past is still here vibrationally and energetically. That means our childhood is still here. Our inner child is still here. And everything that's not healed in our childhood, every single little trauma that we experienced as a child, is still here, and we're somehow, some way living it out. And all I can do, and all I can suggest to you is if you've experienced this in your life, or if you see it happening around you, we, and myself included, all have the capability within ourselves to give love. Which, when you are in the awakening and the anger and the outrage stage, it seems like the last thing that's remotely possible. When you look back at your life and you trigger yourself just because you're calling up memories where you realize, okay, that was a lie, or that was wrong, or this wasn't right, or I deserved this, and you start building it all up again. At some point you realize, okay, am I going to be just mad at these people forever? No. Because what am I really doing in spiritual truth is I'm just being mad at myself. And that's the true nature of forgiveness, is we're telling people, thank you for giving me this experience, as hard as it was. Or even when I originally experienced it, I didn't know how to process it as a child. But now, at this later stage in life, I'm processing it. We still have the ability within ourselves to forgive. We're forgiving whatever the circumstance was, and we're forgiving ourselves. We're saying, thank you, I thank myself, I thank God, I thank this person for giving me this experience, because I wouldn't be who I am today. And in that moment, you are setting them free, and you're setting yourself free. You are letting them off the hook, you're letting yourself off the hook. You are placing no blame on them, no blame on yourself. And you're saying, it all happened, it all is what it is. It's done. And in that crazy sounding moment of forgiveness, and I say crazy because we have the actual ability to laugh and realize, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm not broken. I'm actually unbreakable. When I see myself as a divine spirit, a divine soul connected to God, this all happened. I came through it. I learned it. It's all good. And I'm thankful for it. And because I'm thankful for it, in that thankfulness and gratitude is love. And when we've reached that step, we are closer to who we truly are at the source. Which means that not only this, but anything that we perceive happening in the world, or happening to ourselves, which nothing really happens to ourselves, because that would imply that we're victims, which we're not, we're creators. That none of that which we perceive as bad or evil or wrong is unforgivable. Everything is forgivable. Because everything at the core is love. It's just our perception and our mind and our heart has got all twisted up, and it seems the complete opposite when we've held on so tightly and strongly to this that is so out of alignment with love. Thank you again. I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.